Welcome back to the True First Person tutorial series. In this episode we create our first animation and start setting up our animation blueprint. So let's get started. First we want to fix one bug because right now you can't sprint, and that is because we set our rotation mode to aiming, and normally in ALS the character can sprint while aiming, so we will fix this really easy. Just go to advanced locomotion, blueprints, character logic, and into the base character. Then we search for the function getAllowedGate, and there we switch on our rotation mode, and here we have aiming, velocity direction, and looking direction, and there we just grab our aiming pin and also plug it into there. Okay, then we search for the can sprint function here, and there you can also see we switch on the rotation mode, and also just get the aiming pin here and plug it into there, compile and save. And now we can sprint again. Nice. Really nice. Okay, so let's create our first animation. So here's my project folder. Here we have the true first person animations, and here we have the base blend file we created in the last episode. So before we create a new blend file, we add something new to our base blend file, and that are two bones. So switch back to the A pose here, and we will add two bones to our right hand. We will add one bone to our right hand and one bone to our left hand. On this bone we will attach our weapon to, and so we can basically switch hands with the weapon, and it's easier to animate. Okay, first we need two more bones, and that are the weapon bones from our right hand and our left hand. So we will attach our weapon and our items to this bone, and yeah, you can animate the weapon then, and it's much easier to create animations with this. So you can just switch hands in your animation, you can throw your weapon in the air and everything, so that is much easier. So first go into edit mode, then let's hide those big bones here, and let's search for our right hand bone. Let's enable visibility here in front. Here we have the bone hand R. Make sure it's exactly hand underscore R and not with some other letters there, just hand R. Then hit E for extrude, and there we will extrude a new bone. I'm just gonna move it, but the position and the rotation doesn't matter, it's just important that the bone is there. So let's rename this bone. Let's call it IK underscore weapon underscore hand R, and the same for our left hand. So let's search for the right bone, hand underscore L. Then let's extrude. I'm just gonna position it a little bit so it's more symmetric. Alright, then let's also rename this bone to IK underscore weapon underscore hand L. Alright, so before we export this mesh here, we have to do some settings. So let's select the two bones, IK weapon hand L, IK weapon hand R, and then go to the skeleton tab here. And then let's scroll down to deform controls. First we hit combine armatures. Make sure only your two bones are selected. Then hit add deforms and make sure only selected is ticked. Then hit OK. And then combine armatures again. Then we can hide the deforms here. And now we can export this. So select your skeleton, your mesh, go to File, Export, Mr. Mannequins, take Export Meshes, then let's set our folder here, Mesh, and I created a new one called Mannequin. Accept and hit OK. So here we have our FBX file. Let's rename this to sk mannequin tfp. Then in the advanced locomotion, character assets, mannequin, let's create a new folder called tfp, and let's import this file. Okay, so here is our new imported mannequin. It's the same we're using right now, but we have 2 more bones. Nice. So let's implement him. So here we are using the man from ALS, but that is also, we can also use him. That is no problem. We can use the man one. Okay. So, but before we can use him as our mannequin here, we have to do some more changes. But first, let's just get him here and set him here. So you can see, first he's blue, and you can see he's not playing any animation. So let's hit play, and let's see what's wrong now. Okay. You can see he's doing a little dance here. That is because of the foot IK. We can fix that. Our camera is in the ground because skeleton currently has no sockets, and we used a camera socket from ALS, so we only have to set this. And but the animations are playing. That is very good. Okay. And we get some errors because of the colors, but that's also no problem. So let's fix those bugs. So first, let's go into the man here. And here we also have some visual bones that we have to set up later because of the IK. So first let's search for our camera. So copy the FP camera here. Then let's go into mannequin TFP head and let's paste it here. So now our camera will be the same position again. Then we have to set up the IK, but first I want to fix those bugs here with the color. That is also pretty easy. Let's go to the functions, coloring system, and here we have some functions. So let's just unplug those pins here because we don't need the coloring system from ALS. And save. And now we don't have any errors. Okay, so now let's set up the visual bones from ALS. So we need to make sure they have the exact name. So let's just copy the name from each of them. So root. Let's go to the true first person mannequin and root. Right click, add virtual bone to root. Let's rename it to curves. Then the next two ones will be under hand L, the IK handgun. So let's copy the name, click on hand L, and here we already have our IK weapon hand L bone that we just created. But let's create our virtual bone. Make sure the target bone is the IK handgun. Let's rename it. And then another one, let's copy the name. Then right click on the IK handgun, add virtual bone to IK hand R, like so. Then scroll down. Then we have hand R here. So let's copy the name. It's also the same one. So hand R, add virtual bone to IK handgun, paste the name, then IK hand L and IK hand L, like so. And then we have 6 more virtual bones for the IK and for the foot IK. So let's get started under the IK foot root. Foot target R. So the IK foot root is up here, but in the element it's down there, but that's no problem. Then IK foot root at virtual bone, and the target bone will be foot R, like so. And then target L, for target L, add another one. And this is the IK foot L, like so. Then the IK knee target L, so IK foot L at virtual bone. The knee is the calf, so here calf L, knee target L, and then IK foot L offset at virtual bone. This will just be IK foot L, paste the name. Then IK foot R, just the same. So IK foot R, virtual bone, calf R, like so. And the foot R offset. So again, foot R, like so. Let's save this. And now let's try it again. So now you can see our foot IK problem is fixed. And yeah, so now our character is working. We can set up the materials now. And the foot IK is working, so let's test it here. So you can see the foot IK is working. Nice. Okay, then let's delete those two materials here. Then let's open up the TFP character again, and then let's set up the materials. So let's go to character assets, mannequin, materials, and here we have mannequin body. And the logo. Okay, compile and save. And now we have a cool color here. So in the last episode we created our base blend file. There I set the camera field of view to 110 because I think it looks better than 90. So we also have to set the field of view here to 110. Compile and save. Yeah, okay. And we also moved our camera more down and more forward. So let's try to move them also in the right position. So here in Blender we have on the transform the location. The location is basically 0.2 units down. So here the Z is the forward axis. Okay, so I think in Unreal this is on the Y, on the X and 2. Or no, it's 20 I think, because the unit scale is 0.01. Okay. Then this looks really okay. So this looks similar, I think. First, let's export our test FPS test animation. Then we test out if then we'll test out if it's working, and it's the same on Blender, and then we will create our first own animation. Oh, and Blender automatically created the camera action for our camera here. Let's just go to camera and then animation, right click and delete, because we don't need right now we don't need any animation for our camera. So let's click on the skeleton, click on the FPS test animation here, and we have many bones here right now, so let's go to the deform control tab, and then let's hide the deforms again. Just click it 2 times, and now it's better. Then let's disable in front, and now we can see more stuff here. Make sure you keyed every bone at the time 1 here. Then file, export Mr. Mannequins. Tick export actions, not export meshes, and then the action prefix will be TFP and then a underscore. Okay, then let's set up our folder. Yeah, that's the right one. And hit OK. So now here's our animation, TFP FPS test. Let's create a new folder for our animations, so advanced locomotion, character assets, mannequin skeleton, and then we have animation examples, and let's create a new folder here called TFP, and then a new folder called test, and then let's import our FPS test animation here. Make sure you select the TFP mannequin TFP skeleton and import all. And here's an animation, and it looks like the same in Blender. You can see this is stretched, but there's a way to fix this later, but it's just for testing now, so that is no problem. Oh yeah, let's set our materials also in our mesh and not just in the blueprint here. So SK mannequin, and then let's set the material here and the logo also. Nice. Let's save everything. I just want to test this animation to see if the first person view is the same in Blender and in Unreal. So we'll just we use animation asset. So we're just testing if the camera is at the correct position. Okay, so you can see if I look straight forward, we can see my camera is not at the correct position. It needs to be more down. And I also can see the camera is at this position here, so let's position it roughly. Yeah, you can see it's more up here, so let's move it more down. That was too much, I think. So let's set our snap size to 5, and then I think that's good, so let's compile and save. Let's try it out. Okay, it's too near to our hands, so let's move it back. It's also too near. Yeah, I think that looks good. So when I look straight forward, then I think this looks pretty similar. Maybe a bit more back. Yeah, I think that is. Yeah, that is the same. Okay, so if you want the values, here are the values. Let's set this to 8. Let's set this to 8. So 8 and minus 5. Compile and save. Okay. So now let's switch back to animation blueprint, and now we can create our first animation. Okay, so now let's copy our animation base file. Let's duplicate it here, and let's rename it to TFP animations AR15. Right. Let's open this up. Okay, and then let's import our AR15 model. So we already have a AR15 blend file, so let's just import the files from the blend file. So hit on the items collection, file, append, and then mesh AR15. There we have the blend file AR15, and then collection, and then hit this collection, and then let's append. So make sure your skeleton from your AR15 and your model is under the collection here, so you can import it. Let's delete the collection. And here's our weapon. Nice, and it already comes with textures, I think. Yeah. So here we already have textures, but let's disable them for now. Before we change anything on our weapon here, we click on the skeleton and then on the constraint tab. And let's add a object constraint child of, then our skeleton from our mannequin, and the bone will be our new created IK weapon hand R. And now you can see it already snaps to our bone here. So let's go to the animation tab, and let's create a new animation here. So click on the X, new one, and let's call this idle. Let's click on this fake user thing and then auto keying. So first we will position our hand roughly, and then we will position the weapon roughly. So first we will move the hand into a good position and where I will hold the weapon. So like this. And yeah, this is good. Okay. So this is a good pose for our hand. Now let's grab our new created bone here. Where is it? Where is it? So here it is. That is the IK weapon hand R bone. Let's hide the bones from our R15 for now. And then let's also rotate it. And let's bring it into position. Oh, okay. I can see a tiny problem. So when I press G and I want to move my weapon, it's just rotating. So that is because this bone is still attached to our hand R, so we need to detach it. So we also have to change this in our base blend file. So, but first let's do it here. So click on your skeleton, then go into the edit mode, and here is the bone. Click Alt and P, and then disconnect bone. And this also for the left bone here, disconnect bone. And then let's do this also in our base file. So edit mode, right bone, disconnect, left bone, disconnect, and then save and close. Let's go back to our animation, and then let's go back to pose mode. And now where's the bone? It's here. Now we can move our bone around. Nice. So let's bring it into position. Okay, let's take a look at the iron sides here. So they're perfectly aligned. Okay. So our weapon is a bit too big, but before we scale down our skeleton here, we select it, hit Control and A, and then all transforms. And now we can scale it down, like so, because now we can see our scale is 0.7, and before we applied the transform, it was something like 0.1, and now we have the right scale here that we can also use an Unreal later to scale our weapon down in Unreal. And yeah, make sure the location is 0 here from the skeleton. Then let's make sure you only move this bone and not the skeleton or the mesh from the weapon. Okay, that looks good, I think, like so. And now let's animate our fingers. So let's start with the thumb. I really love these red things here, the red bones here from Mr. Mannequins, because they move these 3 bones here from every finger. That is very helpful when you want to make animations. Okay, let's move the weapon a bit more back. Okay, that is our thumb. Then let's start with our pointer finger. Yeah, let's hide the bones here again. Okay, that looks good. And then the other fingers. Okay, wait, before we move on with the other fingers, make sure you hit local for the transform orientation here. And then like so. And then the pinky. Okay, that is a good position for our right hand. And you can see the weapon is attached to our right hand. So that's very nice. Before we move on, let's hit A and I, location and rotation. So we have implemented all the bones. And yeah, let's start and let's move our right hand into a good first person position. And there you can see that our camera is too near to our head right now, so you can see that in first person, where it looks good in first person, then in third person the hands are way too near to our face. So let's move the camera more forward, so maybe 0.0 minus 0.04. Let's say minus 0. Let's say minus 0.1. And let's move our hand. Okay. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. Then let's start with our left hand. Let's add a little bit of rotation here. So. Okay, then let's start with our left hand. And you can see that our left hand is too short, so we need to move our shoulders. So we have our shoulder bones here. Okay, then let's look from the top, and then let's rotate our shoulder bone here, and then let's rotate the head a little bit, because right now like so, because the shoulder bone rotated our head a little bit to the left, but now it's good again. That's still very short. Okay, so then let's move our right hand more back, like so. Then let's also move it a bit more to the right. Okay. Then let's also move the camera back again. Zero point 1, 0.08, 0.09. Fine, okay. Then let's move the right hand more up, and then the left hand a bit more back. Then let's move our elbow here. Okay. You can see that this is a bit stretching, but we'll change this at the end. First, let's set up our left hand and the fingers. Make sure your right hand is not too stretched, because I see many animators that stretch their right hand too much, so it looks like a bit more like this. That's not looking very healthy. So I think this is a good pose here. Then let's move it a bit more to this position, and then let's start with our thumb, because the thumb is the most important part here for first person, because this is the only finger of your left hand that you'll see. So let's try to make a good pose for it. Let's move the hand a bit more up. Okay, I think this is a good pose for our thumb. Then let's go on with the other fingers. So we have to rotate them a little to this side here. Okay. Okay, so this is my pose for the other fingers. Everything looks nice, I think. So now let's fix our stretching bug here, and then let's position the weapon again. So to fix this bug, we have to select this bone, the lower arm twist, and then under the bone tab, look for inverse kinematic, and there let's lock the Y, and now you can see it's not stretched again. Okay, so now let's attach our left hand to our right hand. So let's create a new bone constraint, child of our skeleton, and then hand underscore R. Okay, so now everything's attached to our right hand. So now let's create a cool position for it. Maybe something like this. Okay, then maybe let's do a bit more like this and this, so. And now you can see in third person the pose looks fine. So I think the pose looks fine in first person and third person. Oh, and okay, I did something wrong here because I accidentally created keys at the 2. So let's just move the keys to 1, and now there's still something. Oh, that's my camera. Okay, so he created a animation again for my camera. So let's just also add this to the idle, and then let's insert the rotation for our camera in the idle, because sometimes you also want to animate your camera. Okay, so now let's go back to pose mode here, hit A, file, export Mr. Mannequins, then export actions. Let's call the action prefix will be TFP underscore AR 15 and then underscore. Okay. Oh, okay, that is a problem. Let's hit Control Z. I don't know what was this, but just hit Control Z. Okay, so now we have our idle animation here. So let's import this idle animation, AR15 idle. Let's get our TFP skeleton, and there it is. It looks the same. Okay, and don't worry about the legs. We will use the bottom part from ALS, so the legs are moving with the locomotion animations from ALS, and the top ones we will make ourselves. Okay, so let's try this out and let's position the camera again. So animation asset, and then let's set this to our new animation. Yeah, but it actually looks fine for now, I think. Yeah, it actually looks the same. Okay, so now we have our new made animation here. Okay, now let's set up our animation blueprint for our new animation. So let's open up the TFP animation blueprint, and let's also set it back to blueprint, animation blueprint mode. And now let's get started. Okay, so let's add a new animation layer here called top layer. So here we will add a new state machine, and we will call it the top layer states, like so. Okay, so when we want to search for our animation here, TFP, we don't get any animations here, so let's go to the class settings, and no, let's go to the class defaults. Let's go to the class settings, search for skeleton, and here we have the target skeleton, and let's set it to TFP skeleton. Let's compile and save, and then let's reopen it. And now we have our TFP animations. We still have the ALS animations included in here, so nothing is broken or something. In here, let's create a new state called select. Let's add some of those arrows here, like so. So it's a bit more clear, it looks better, like so. Select. Then let's add a new state called AR15, like so. And then drag the animation onto there, and then it's already connected in here. So now we have to set up the transition. So first let's go to data, enums, and then let's search for overlay state here. Let's add a new enum, and let's call this the AR15. Let's save. And now our transition rule will be get overlay state is equal to AR15. Let's copy this one, and the arrow back, and then a not boolean, compile and save. And now if our state is AR15, it will go to this state here. So now let's implement the top layer states. So go to the enum graph, and here we already set up the layered blend per bone. So now let's call the top layer here, put this into blend pose 0, compile and save. And now let's just try it out. So now you can see everything is fine, but in ALS we can press Q and then go to AR15, and now you can see here is our hand, but you can still see some things, because when I look to the left and right, my upper body isn't rotating, but when I look up and down, this is fine. Okay. You can still see that there is a very bad walking animation from ALS, and that is just the upper body up and down moving from the walking animation. But we will change this later, and we will create a own procedural walking animation for this. But if you like this one, then you can also just leave it as it is. But yeah, I think we will create a more better one. Okay, So, yeah, this looks fine, I think. Yeah, this looks fine. Okay. So then, actually, wait. Here you can see, let's move our camera a bit more back. Just a bit. Maybe something like this. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So here we have our pose. And now let's set up some things. Because, for example, when we're crouching, the hands are not in the same position again. When we're jumping, they're not in the same position. Yeah, sprinting is okay. But, yeah. So, for example, when I go to box, you can see that my upper body is rotating. And we don't want this, so we will add a new transform node here. So right click, transform, modify bone. And then after the local to component, let's add some more space here. Okay. The bone will be the spine 01. Let's create a alpha value for this, because maybe you want to change your spine rotation in your animation, and then you can change your alpha animation. So let's rename it to spine rotation alpha. And then let's just don't expose the pin from translation, from scale, and then from the rotation mode will be add to replace existing. Replace. That is important. And then the rotation will be 90, 80, and 90. Compile and save. And now you can see that my hands aren't moving. So now my spine isn't rotating when I walk. So now the hands are in the same position every second. Okay. And also when jumping or crouching, now they're in the same position every time. So now we only have to set up the spine rotation on the left and right. And yeah. So let's set this up. This is very easy. So let's create a comment for this. So let's say spine rotation pitch, and then let's in brackets only up / down. Alright. And let's add some more space here. And then let's copy those transform modify bones here, but just for spine 2 and spine 3. So let's just copy those two like so. So then let's also use this spine rotation alpha for our alpha here. Whoops. And also from this for this one. Okay. And now this is pretty easy. Let's get the aiming angle. This is a variable from ALS, so they also use this variable for the spine rotation. So let's get the x, then let's divide this by 2, and then let's say make rotator, and this is the z value. So let's put this into the rotation, then make sure add to existing is selected here, now you can see it is rotating nicely. Very, very nice. Okay, and yeah, in third person it looks like this. We also have to remove the stretching on our right hand. As you can see, it is stretched here, but that's no problem. And I think this looks very nice. And I see a little bug, because when I look down, you can see my hands are a bit too much down, I think, and when I look up, they're back in the right position. So this is a bug. Okay, let's try and fix this. Okay, so I tried a little bit, and now the right values are for our clamp minus 28.8 and 28.8 for the max, and also in our character, in our variable event here, the clamp also the same. So let's save everything, and now you can see that is nice. You can see it's a little bit moving down when we look up, but that is no problem, and I think it's also a bit better, so it's more realistic. Okay, so now let's just import our weapon, then just implement it in our character, and in the next episode we will create weapon sway, and we will create a base blueprint for the weapons and the items. So you only have to create a child of it, and then you can add new weapons. That is very nice. So we already have our AR-15 imported here. Let's just create for the textures and for the materials 2 folders, like so, and materials like so. Let's save, and then let's grab our AR-15, and then let's just add it here. So click on the mesh, add skeletal mesh, AR-15, and the parent socket will be the IK weapon hand R. Okay, so now you can see it's just somewhere here, but when we play the animation, you can see it's kinda in the pose, but now it's not in the right pose because of the scale, because we scaled in Blender. And now we now let's select our skeleton, and here we have our scale value that we set earlier. Go to AR-15 and then search for scale and import uniform scale, set it to this, and then let's re-import the base mesh. Now you can see it's smaller, and now you can see it's in the right pose like in Blender. Okay, I'm not so happy with the pose right now, but you can see that our weapon is clipping in our camera. So first let's disable clipping. So go to the project settings, all settings, and let's search for near clip plane, and let's change this from 10 to 0.1, and then let's save everything, and then let's restart Unreal Engine. Okay, let's open our level up again. Alright, right now we can just let's go to the maps and modes, and let's set our startup map to the demo level, so we don't have to open it up every time we start. So now you can see it's not clipping anymore, and yeah, I'm not happy with the pose right now. I think I'm gonna change it in the next episode a bit. Okay, but yeah, you can see we have a pose in third person. You can see spine rotation is also here because we just rotated. Yeah, okay. And you can see it is working very nice, and it's also looking very nice, I think. And also while walking, yeah, that looks good. So okay, I think I'm just gonna change this pose a little bit right now. Okay, like so. I'm gonna export it again with the same settings here, and then here oh wait, I imported the idle and the test, so let's create a new folder for our AR-15 like so, then move it into there, and then I'm just gonna re-import it here. Okay, that is a better pose, but still not the best. Okay, I think I will move the thumb a little bit more and more to the left and more to the back. Okay. And by the way, if you have a first-person hands mesh that you want to use in Unreal, then you also can import this into Blender if it's in the UE4 rig, and then so for example, this is your new mesh. Then select your mesh, Shift P, select the armature, Shift P, and then armature deform. If the mesh is in the right rig, then it should work, and you can animate with your rig, and then you get a better preview. So now let's also remove the stretch here. So select the lower arm twist, inverse kinematic, and then lock. So now let's insert everything, and then let's export it. Now let's re-import the animation. Okay, this is a better pose, I think. Maybe a bit more forward. Thanks for watching. In the next episode we will create good looking procedural weapon sway and a base blueprint for our weapons. So thanks for watching, and again, it would greatly support the series if you become a channel member, and every channel member get the project files from every new tutorial now, and also from the True First Person tutorial series. So bye bye.